the Cincinnati Bengals, no doubt about it, just having a disappointing season. It even seems when they are firing all cylinders, something is letting them down and they are not able to win these games. They have currently, I believe, a top 5 draft pick if the season were to end today. They're taking on the New York Giants at home, coming off of a major win across the country against the Seattle Seahawks. Carmen, I'm very curious, what is the matchup that matters most here for Bengals versus Giants?
Trevor, I'm so mad at this Bengals defense. I'm so mad because
They're getting in the way of a great Bengals offense.
a great Bengals offense. Like, there are doubters out there now doubting Joe Burrow, despite the fact that he is on an absolute tear right now. I mean, just an absolutely incredible run. He is more efficient than like any quarterback. He's scoring the most amount of points that he possibly can. You've got Jamar Chase involved. You got T. Higgins involved. You got Andre Yoshivas involved. I just, I'm so mad at this Bengals defense because if they were just even average, this is a completely different story for the Bengals season thus far. And to illustrate that, I talked about how Atlanta is really bad on third down. The Bengals are really bad on third down. They're 31st in the league in third down rate. They have just 5 sacks on the season, which is tied for last also with the Atlanta Falcons. And the Giants' offensive line is not going to be a test, or really shouldn't. They have a 65.3 pass blocking grade that ranks 23rd in the league. If the Bengals defense cannot get pressure on Daniel Jones, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't want to be out on the Bengals quite yet because I do believe in Joe Burrow and I believe in this offense. And when you're averaging almost 30 points a game, I don't understand why you're not winning. And truth be told, I mean, the Bengals have been in every game that they've played. They've played really hard teams, really tough. That loss to the Chiefs was just like, it was so disappointing. I was so excited for that game. I thought, Bengals could really make something happen here, and it didn't happen. It was just a heartbreaking game earlier in the season, and so I just and that's kind of been the way that I've looked at the Bengals every game since, was just like, oh, if they can just win this game right against the Ravens, same thing. I'm like, oh God, like, they have to win some of these games that are going to be tough fought games, but this should not be one of them. So they absolutely have to win this game against the Giants. The Bengals are playing a fourth place schedule, given what happened last year and the injury to Joe Burrow. Take advantage of that, please, and win this game against the Giants. I need this Denver pass, or this Bengals pass rush to please get involved. Just get involved. I don't even want to like overload this with stats because it's just too depressing. I really need Trey Hendrickson is doing fine, but he's not getting a lot of help and it's showing. They are getting Sheldon Rankins back though. They are getting Sheldon Rankins back.
It's good. No, I think the matchup that matters is simply, I'm overlooking the defense at this point. I am. I'm looking at like, okay, I'm gonna stop saying I need the Bengals defense to show up. It is simply, can the Bengals offense overcome it? And can they do that specifically against the Giants defensive backs? Defensive backs for the Giants, 66.3 coverage grades, 14th best in the NFL. Deontay Banks had a really good week last week. I think they're getting Drew Phillips. I think Drew Phillips is back in the starting lineup. I believe I saw that
It's
correctly.
hard. It's hard doing this on Thursday when you don't have all the injury
But
information and
anyways,
whatever.
Drew Phillips, when he was playing, he was playing very, very well. So if he's a factor, if he's out there in this game, I think he's going to be a factor, even
Yeah.
from a rookie player. He's going to play really, really well, and they need him because Jamar Chase and T Higgins, they're just simply two of the best in the NFL. Jamar Chase, 234 yards after the catch, is first in the NFL. 493 receiving yards overall, second in the NFL. T Higgins, he's already got 13 catches, gaining a first down, 4 contested catches, 2 of 15 yards or more. These guys, and what Joe Burrow is doing with them as a passing attack trio, there's just not better right now in the NFL, and they're showcasing that, and yet they have a 1-4 record to show for it. If the Bengals drop to 1-5,
Oh,
you're right. It's sort of like, I know Giants fans are probably going to be mad listening to this because they're like, why are you rooting for like the Bengals to win? And it's like, I'm not necessarily rooting against the Giants. I feel bad in that regard, but
right.
if the Bengals go 1-5, that's basically
That's it.
it. Like I
Right.
don't. There's basically no room for error at that point. You have to go. What would that be? What would that be after that? That would be 9-2 to like realistically have a chance to make the playoffs at that point in the AFC. So The margin for error is already very small, and this is a fun offense, and it's going to add that. I think the team's going to unravel if they were to lose this game. But hey, I will give props to the Giants again, going into Seattle and playing the way that they did to come away with that win was huge. And I think the defensive line played a lot better as well. We don't have either of those as our matchup that matters, but the Giants defensive line with Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence, they played a lot better as a group. And what the Giants offense was able to do without Malik Nabers was really awesome. What Darius Slayton's production was, and then specifically my plus factor in this game, Tyrone Tracy, what he was for the Giants last week, giving them some juice out of the backfield. Specifically, there was a Tyrone Tracy stat that I loved amongst him having 129 rushing yards on only 18 carries, 4 explosive plays of 10 yards or more. And Carmen, 3 out of those 4 explosive runs came on first down. So it's a down where, okay, the other team, they're probably expecting a run. It's 1st and 10. Most likely, you're probably going to run the football, or at least we're going to be ready for it. That's what I should say.
Yeah.
When you can immediately gain 10 yards on 1st and 10, changes things, kind of freaks the defense out a little bit. They don't really know what to do. Okay, well, whatever we were set up in before didn't work here. And he was able to do that 3 separate times in the game. Not just set up a second and manageable or a third and manageable, get a first down on the ground on first down. And to me, like that, the psychological battle that you win as much as moving the chains means a lot. And I think that's the extra juice that Tyrone Tracy brings to the table. So, I again, it's one of those things where I would hate to see the Bengals at 1-5, but man, if the Giants can string together 2 wins, one against Seattle on the road and the other against a potent passing attack against the Bengals, my hat would be off to what Brian Daboll was doing there for them as well. What is your plus factor here in this one?
Yeah, I'm doubling down on the Bengals defensive line because they are conceivably getting Sheldon Rankins back, which he went down in week 2 with a hamstring injury. Cincinnati in week 1, granted it's a very small sample size, but they had the second highest pressure percentage of any team in week 1 with Sheldon Rankins on the field, helping out Trey Hendrickson on the outside. That offered a more complete picture of what this Bengals defensive line and defense in general was supposed to look like. If you get him back, hopefully he can be a boost. Hopefully he can get pressure on that interior because you're going to need it. So it's just as simple for me as the Bengals will win this game. And again, you're right. I don't want to I'm sorry, Giants fans, that this is coming against you. It's literally nothing personal. It's just that I don't want to have to be out on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And I want to see them continue on this season and not have to climb themselves out of a nearly impossible hole. And in order to do that, you just need the defense to play average. Average. I'm not asking for the world here. Just get a little bit of pressure, put some pressure on Daniel Jones. You're going to have the opportunity to do that. Please do.